Hello, good morning, and welcome to 52 Weeks of Angel Connection. My name is Christy Clemens Hoffman. I'm a metaphysical healer, QHHT practitioner, and medium in Kansas City, Missouri. In 2019, Spirit nudged me to do a series on YouTube on different angelic and spiritual beings. And I've been doing that each week of 2020. From here in my office. So today we're going to be speaking with, to, and about Jesus. That is Jesus of Nazareth, the Jesus. Jesus, of course, is a spiritual master and teacher. We know about his teachings primarily from the Bible, although the Gospels were all written more than 70 years after he passed. So much like a game of telephone, we're not sure what the truth was in the teaching, but we know that it was something very special and very different. There are also no historic accounts that are contemporary to the time when he walked on earth. So what we know, we do have to just have faith about. I will say, I've been working very closely with Jesus in my healing career. And he's often with me in Reiki sessions, healing sessions. He comes to me often, and I do speak to him a lot. That said, I don't consider myself a Christian because there was no church formed during his time. And much of the teachings now are very distorted and not as pure as what he was teaching about. Before I started doing this video this morning, he had me cleanse and clear and raise the vibration of the room. And I wanted to show you a couple of tools that he wanted me to share. One, this is almost embarrassing. This is a very beat up container of frankincense and myrrh. It's an aromatherapy and body mist made by the Zum Company, which is located in Kansas City, Missouri, headquartered here. They make aromatherapy products, but it's frankincense and myrrh. Of course, frankincense and myrrh were some materials that were brought to the birth as told in the Bible. Frankincense and myrrh were balms. They were used for healing at the time. They were, think of them kind of like essential oils that were healing. And they were held very sacred for that. Still very powerful now. And we smell frankincense and myrrh incense in Catholic churches. So that is the smell that we associate with Catholic churches. This is something that I use to just raise vibration of any place, like if I'm going to a home or office to clear it and remove negative energy. That's what I use, as well as Rosewater. This is made by, who is it made by? Heritage Store. You can find this at Whole Foods, Wild Oats, if they still have that, Sprouts. And this Rosewater scent is an aromatherapy mist and body splash. And it's from European roses. I don't know if that makes a difference. I think they're just more aromatic and probably more organic than what we have here in the States. It's recommended by Edgar Cayce. So if you know the Sleepy Prophet, he talked about Rosewater in his teachings. And Rosewater brings in angelic presence, but also Mother Mary. And so Mary, when I sat down to connect for this session today, Mary was the first one to come in. And she came in just to hold space, and then she had Jesus come in, so preceding her son. So the story may or may not be a myth. I do feel Jesus did walk among us on earth. And I've seen several QHHT sessions in which people were alive at Jesus's time. And the most recent session that I conducted, the client went to a time when she was touched by Mary Magdalene. And I'll have that up on YouTube very soon, her experience with Magdalene and her transformation coming from that. She described Magdalene as somebody very magnetic, that after Jesus is passing, people gathered around her at a marketplace and hung on her every word, asking questions and after question about the teachings. So I see that my battery is quickly draining. So I should get to this. So I'm referring now to Doreen Virtue's book, Archangels and Ascended Masters. So we all know the story of Jesus. We know that there were no historical accounts of him from the time, that everything we know is hearsay, passed down generation after generation after generation. So according to Doreen Virtue, this is what Jesus helps us with, is clear communication with God. Jesus also taught that we don't need any intercessor, that we can communicate with God directly because we are all part of God. Radical concept at the time. Jesus also helps with divine guidance and direction, with faith issues, forgiveness, healing of all kinds, manifestation, and miracles. And I was just reminded perhaps that I do have a QHHT story up here on YouTube right now of a story of the first Easter and a client who went back to her lifetime as a student of Jesus's, learning healing techniques and being present at the crucifixion. So that's very interesting. You can go back and watch that when we're finished here. So Jesus, of course, was a bringer of peace, and he talked about peace. In the world today, there's so much division. And before the COVID pandemic started, in fact, for centuries, much of this division has been around the church, which is another reason I can't call myself a Christian, even though I do adore and follow Jesus. I cannot call myself a Christian. So much division around the idea of Christianity and Christians. So where was I going with this? So much division that Jesus just kind of laughs and he says, 2,000 years later, you're still not getting it. He said, that is not what I taught. I taught to love thy neighbor, to minister to thy neighbor, to serve thy neighbor, to turn the other cheek. He said, and you're still not getting it. Oh, funny. He's saying, don't make me come down there. And he's really kind of laughing too, because he is still here. He's not really left. And I believe that was the message of the very first Easter. He's like, I'm not with you physically, in physical form, but I'm still with you. I've never left. So would really love to see humans stop it, to stop all of the division, the bickering. And just as soon as we start coming together for one united cause, then we find new ways to divide, new ways to separate ourselves. And this is not according to his plan. So I believe that's his biggest message, is look for the places where we can unite. Do not hold judgment. Do not hold attachment to any one side. Accept that we are all one and we are all in this together. There really is no divide. We are all one in Christ. We are all one in God. We are all one in God. And that's his biggest teaching. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning, and whenever you're catching the replay. I truly appreciate it. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next week. Bye.